Hi everyone, welcome to Conservation Conversations. My name is Ana Sangronis and I work for UF-IFAS Extension in Miami-Dade County. This webinar is a joint effort between UF-IFAS Extension, Florida Sea Grant, and Miami-Dade County Eco Adventures. We will be offering this webinar every second and fourth Wednesday at 12 noon for the next few months. Thank you for tuning in today. Everyone in this webinar is currently muted, so I ask that you type any questions into the chat box, which I will be moderating. We will be answering questions at the end of the session. This webinar is being recorded and a link to the recording will be sent out within the next week. Please follow us on social media where we will be announcing each month's topics. And if you'd like to receive an email reminder with the weekly conservation topic, bi-weekly conservation topic and link to register, please let me know or indicate so in the chat box. Now I will turn it over to today's presenter, Fanny Navarro, as well as Heather Tedlow.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for zooming in and joining the conservation conversation. Today's topic, we're going to focus on our parks and recreation professionals and then jump on in and talk about our conservation and stewardship pillar with Miami-Dade County Parks. A friendly reminder, this webinar, as Anna mentioned, will be recorded and available for later viewing. So if you have any questions, you're able to refer back and just contact me. My information will be provided at the end of the presentation. So this is me. Although today you're just hearing my voice, I want to thank all of you for joining in. I am the Eco Adventures Coordinator and Community Engagement Manager for Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces. I'm an alumni of the Greater Miami Leadership class. I have over 22 years experience in the park professional, as a park professional, and also an environmental steward. I'm proud to also mention, and I see some graduates that are also joining us today from our Florida Parks Recreation Association, Joe Abrams Academy. Today's learning objective is I want to introduce to you and also recognize that July is Parks and Recreation Month, and it's brought to you by the National Recreation and Park Association. I also want to introduce to you our Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation Open Spaces Department, and most importantly, share with you the department's strategic objective, also known as our park pillar on conservation and stewardship. So July is known as Parks and Recreation Month. This year, we celebrate our parks professional. And on this Zoom call today, you have several of your Miami-Dade County Parks professionals with you today. So the National Recreation and Park Association believes that everyone deserves a great park. And since 1985, Americans have been celebrating parks and recreation. July as the month to promote the importance of parks and recreation in our community. Parks and recreation is beyond playgrounds and ball fields. We really focus on health and well-being in our community. Parks and recreation departments are composed of part-timers, seasonal workers, volunteers, and most importantly, our park users. Through the efforts of NRPA, we actually have a resolution for Parks and Recreation Month. Although a lot of people really enjoy July as just another summer month, well, Parks and Recreation professionals during this month really celebrate the great work that we do within our community. Of course, this year is a little bit challenging due to COVID-19, but in the past, we celebrate this month with several activities, events, contests, and celebrations throughout our nation. The services that Parks and Recreations provide are vital to our community. We protect open spaces, we offer activity, and we offer resources to all people in parks. Of course, this has been especially true throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Parks and Recreation Month encourages everyone to reflect on the great value of parks and recreation professionals and what we bring to the community. So if you ever wonder if parks and recreation professionals are essential, we definitely are. We are the backup during hurricanes or natural disasters. When our police force and our fire department are out ensuring the safety of our residents, your park and recreational professionals are probably out at evacuation sites or directing traffic. But every day, your parks and recreation professionals are there to make sure you have memorable moments at your parks. July is a perfect time to see what your local parks and recreations have to offer and appreciate those. And this year's theme is We Are Parks and Recreation. So for all of you on the call that are essential park and recreation professionals, I take this moment to thank you for your service and your continued passion for our Parks and Recreation Department. But it doesn't stop here. Continue throughout the 31 days of July, and on your social media, mention one of those great park professionals. Hashtag We Are Parks and Recs. Thank a park and recreation professional through your social media, and there's several contests taking place. For more information, please visit www.nrpa.org/July. Can't wait to read your great messages to your Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces park professionals. And this is just a blurb. As you thank those park professionals, please make sure that you do so at Miami-Dade Parks. And the hashtag is highlighted in green on the bottom. Hashtag We Are Parks and Recreation. So to continue this great celebration of Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation Month here in Miami-Dade County and nationwide with all of our park professionals, today we're going to focus on our local Parks and Recreation Department. But before we do that, in the chat, when you hear Parks and Recreation, what comes to mind? And you guys are able to go on to the chat and share of those. I mentioned before that Parks and Recreation are beyond playgrounds and ball field, but when you think of Parks and Recreation, what is it that you might think of? History, absolutely, Anna. Miami-Dade County Parks celebrates 90 years of serving Miami-Dade County. Any others? I think of summer camp that's taking place as we enjoy today's Zoom. Richard, absolutely, the environment. Lauren, fresh air. Kasia, community, our natural areas. That's right, Ed. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback on that. Now, let's move on and let's learn a little bit about Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation. Before we do so, I want to learn a little bit about the audience. So we're going to take a quick poll or a little survey, and you can see as it pops up on the screen. So take your time if you to take the poll. So question number 1, how many parks and recreation departments are there in the South Florida Dade County region? 1, 17, 37, 37 plus the Miami-Dade County. Number 2, Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department is the 3rd largest parks department in the nation, PAPRA accredited, the only parks department to be honored with the Florida Governor Sterling Award, or all of the above. Number 3, Miami-Dade Parks operates and maintains over 270 parks, Zoo Miami and Deering Estate, 18 miles of beaches across all jurisdictions, over 26,000 acres of environmental critical lands, or all of the above? Number 4, according to the average household taxes, a single family invests how much annually in taxes to Miami-Dade Parks and Recreation for the operation and maintenance of over 270 public parks? Do they invest $1, less than $1, $500, or none at all? And lastly, question number 5. In your opinion, what is the top park benefit to our Miami-Dade County community? Is it health and wellness? That, of course, includes human and environment, economic prosperity, tourism and travel, preservation of green spaces, and other. If you mention other, you may add that or even on the chat, but I do see on the survey Excellent. Thank you so much. We've got about 50% of our participants that have completed the survey. For question number 5, if you do select other, I would like to hear what some of those are, so feel free to place those in the chat. And we're gonna go ahead and have the poll close in about 10 more seconds. And poll, oh, thank you, and I apologize for that. I just realized the polling is closed, so thank you all who shared your thoughts, and let's go through this. So for the first question, how many parks and recreation is there in the South Florida, Dade County region? That's 37. We have 37 municipalities in Miami-Dade County that have become their own cities. And in addition, you have your Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces department within the county. Number 2, Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces is all of the above. 3rd largest parks department, and I do want to state that this changes. This depends on how many facilities or acre the park system does have. We do purchase land in order to maintain and preserve the green spaces in our community, but we are ranked 3rd in the nation. We are CAPRA accredited. We're currently going through that process now, and we do hold actually 2 awards through the Florida Governor Sterling Award. Number 3, Miami-Dade Parks operates and maintains. Amazingly, we have something for everyone. Right now, we actually have 278 parks, and we do monitor, maintain 18 miles of beaches across different jurisdictions. Number 4, and I do want to say, for the answer to number 4, as your community engagement manager, this is something that I researched on my own, and I encourage each and every one of you to do so. When you do receive your tax itemized form, check out and see how much you actually pay annually for your parks and recreation. So for single family, the amount that we invest, and this is annually for over 270 parks, is less than $1. Currently, my household invests 98 cents to maintain 270 public parks. For the lower income areas, they do invest about 14 cents, and those higher income families, they invest just a little bit over $1.18. So this is a great exercise to follow up on how much your family annually invests in Miami-Dade County parks. And lastly, I do have to say there's all great answers, and there's great benefits to your Parks and Recreation Department. So now let me introduce you to who is Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces. And I do have to say our acronym is pretty cool. It's PROS. As you know already, we are the 3rd largest parks and recreation space in the nation. We are bordered by 2 great national parks. Right now, currently, we're 278 parks. We also manage our greenways and different recreational facilities. Our environmentally endangered lands, over 26,000 acres of those. I did mention our 18 miles of beaches, 5 golf courses, marinas, our top 10 zoos in the nation, Zoo Miami, our beautiful Deering Estate preserving real estate and history, our Crandon Park Tennis Center, and believe it or not, the causeways, the medians, the great gateways to certain communities, our Neat Streets Miami and Million Trees Miami. All those great services come to you by your Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation Department. So what you're looking at here is what I call our Park Pavilion. On the bottom, you see that our foundation is based on performance excellence, our sterling criteria, our leadership, customer focus, our measurements, matrix, results, workforce, and operations. In the middle are 3 of our pillars. And on the top roof is our sustainability. And today's focus is going to be on conservation and stewardship. Although placemaking, health, and fitness are also a great support to our mission, today we're going to focus on conservation and stewardship, where we create park stewards through education and conservation initiatives. So what's the how, what, and why of this pillar? So with over 2.7 million residents in Miami-Dade County, our main focus is to deliver health and happiness to residents and visitors through a park-like connected public realm. What that really means is, just like we have our medians in our causeway areas or in our great gateways to different communities, we want to make sure that we have a livable plan for you when you open up your doorway and you have beautiful tree-lined streets and great public spaces. Through that and conservation, through education, monitoring, and preserving our green spaces, especially our environmental critical lands and natural areas. I mentioned that we're bordered by 2 national parks. This is phenomenal because Miami-Dade County is nestled between these great national parks, and we have an opportunity to create blueways and greenways to connect these 2 great national parks together. We work very closely with the National Park Service and also the state park system. So for us, a park is a park is a park. It's how we make those great connectivities to ensure that we continue to educate, monitor, and preserve these green spaces and connectivity to our natural resources. And lastly, how do we do this? Through a great master plan. Miami-Dade County, through their performance excellence and resiliency practices, we continue to create, monitor, and develop great policies, planning, implementation, and of course, evaluation. We have our open space master plan. We also have a recreation plan. And last year, part of our 90th celebration, we created a conservation plan with actions to make sure that they are updated on an annual basis where we have measures and matrix to see our great progress in resiliency. In addition, we're currently working on a Blueways plan and accessibility and connectivity to all of our Blueways in our Miami-Dade County region. So our master plan has guiding principles to be equitable, accessible, seamless, regardless of jurisdiction, sustainable, be beauty, and have multi-benefits. This plan allows us to have great parks, great public spaces, great natural and cultural spaces, great greenways and blueways, and great streets. The way we do this is as park professionals, we continue to preserve, educate, manage, conserve, explore, and maintain. This slide here just gives you additional information about our conservation and stewardship initiatives. Some of the things that I do want to highlight is Miami-Dade County holds the permit for the sea turtle conservation program currently taking place every year from May to October. Our Miami-Dade County Parks takes care of our beaches and ensures the species of sea turtles and their monitoring. We do have 5 nature centers, and you'll hear about that a little bit later with my co-host. We also lead agricultural and best practices within our UF-IFAS team, including our seed grants. Make sure that we monitor our blueways and accessibility and great practices within our waterways. We also implement Florida-friendly landscaping best practices, and we have those resources for you. And then, of course, we offer our ecotourism experiences as well. All of these are focused on environmental and education. So our Eco Division really focuses on education, conservation, and outreach. We inspire and educate the community to become passionate about experiencing and protecting the environment. The divisions you see on your screen: Miami Eco Adventures, Natural Areas Management, Camp OB, UF-IFAS Extension of Miami-Dade County, Larry and Penny Thompson Memorial Park, and Fruit and Spice Park, all are part of the Eco Division, where we continue to be stewards of our environment. And lastly, to close this part of the presentation, I do want to mention that Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation and Open Spaces, conservation and stewardship is the core mission of public parks and recreation in the preservation of natural resources and promoting good conservation and stewardship practices. As a reminder, public parks, zoos, the lands are viewed as essential to protect our open spaces and preserve nature. That includes land, water, trees, open spaces, and wildlife. As a friendly reminder, and as you continue to learn more about your investments in parks, investing in parks is investing in your economic prosperity for our community, for this and future generations. I want to thank you for listening today and continuing to learn more about your Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation Department, and continue to support and leave a legacy through your conservation commitment and becoming a great park stewards with your Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department. As you saw today, we are beyond playgrounds and ball fields. We purchase green spaces, we monitor and preserve, and we also enjoy the wonderful resources through our Eco Adventures unit. So with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the next presenter, Heather Tedlow. She is our Eco Adventures manager with over 15 years of experiences as an environmental educator. And this last year, Heather, along with Ed, who is on this Zoom call, became certified in the resiliency communications and conversations happening in Miami-Dade County through the Clio Institute. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you my right hand at Eco Adventures, Heather Tedlow.
Thank you so much, Fanny. We can go ahead, and I'm honored to be here this afternoon to talk about the wonderful work that our unit does, Miami Eco Adventures, and how we support the Eco Division and the conservation pillar within the Miami-Dade County Parks Department. We can move on to the next slide. The mission of the Miami Eco Adventures unit is to create environmental stewards and advocates through quality nature and heritage-based recreation and education experiences. And these are some photos that I've taken out in some of our preserve areas, so you can see, you can connect with a wide variety of habitats and ecosystems on our tours. Next slide. The objectives of the Eco Adventure Unit is to tell the Miami-Dade environmental story and answer the question, why should I care about our environment in Miami-Dade County? We examine planning as a constructive link between the present and the future, promote the Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Master Plan as a unifying vision for a livable, sustainable Miami-Dade County, and nurture the sense of wonder to foster sensory and emotional responses to the beauties of the environment and to suggest satisfying creative ways of expressing these feelings. So we operate out of 5 nature centers throughout the county. We have nature centers all the way up north to down south, and we are operating out of some satellite sites as well. Each of our nature centers has a theme, and the theme correlates to telling the Miami-Dade County environmental story. So 80 Barnes Park, which is in central Miami-Dade County, the theme of that nature center is urban ecology. Arch Creek Park, which is in North Miami, focuses on history and archaeology. Bill Sadowski Park, which is in the Palmetto Bay area, focuses on wildlife management and water. Castello Hammock Park, which is down south in the Homestead Redland area, focuses on birds, butterflies, and South Florida ecology. And Crandon Park, which is on Key Biscayne and the Crandon Wilderness Outpost, focuses on coastal conservation, coastal and marine conservation. We have a satellite site out of Reynolds Boathouse where we run some of our nature-based programming in summer camp. And we are starting to look into launching some nature-based programs out of Hattie Bower, which would focus on South Florida history and orchids, and Cat Meadow Cumbe on Pedro Pan. Our staff are highly trained, passionate people who both work and play out in the natural areas. When we're not at work, taking people out on tours and connecting people to nature, we're out enjoying our time outdoors and connecting ourselves to nature. We enjoy it. This is our passion. Most of our staff have degrees in the biological sciences, environmental science, education, or have literally grown up within our parks department as campers, then as volunteers, then as summer camp staff, and now they are site supervisors and camp directors themselves. Each member of our unit has an area of expertise or special talents, and we're continually learning from each other. Some of us have more experience in identifying plants or have passion for plants, and some of us have more of a passion for birds or have more of a passion for coastal ecosystems. And that really allows us to learn together as a unit, and it's fun to learn from the staff. You're always learning every single day. And professional development at all levels is a priority for our team. We continually have to learn. We have to learn new practices. We have to keep up on scientific information coming in, environmental education or initiatives coming in. And so we continually update our programs to sort of reflect those issues or those topics. And you can see some of the organizations our staff have worked with or been certified with. FYCCN, who is Florida Fish and Wildlife, that certifies us on archery and some of our outdoor skills. As Fanny mentioned, some of the staff are now going through Clio Institute Climate Network training. Myself and Ed Pritchard have been certified, and we have some more staff now coming into the next cohort. We have Florida Master Naturalists on the staff, or soon to be Florida Master Naturalists on the staff, and we have participated in bat conservation training and Wings Over Florida training, so very specialized trainings so we can give interpretive walks to the public. Next slide. So we basically divide our programs that we offer within our unit into two main categories. The first category is hands-on education, which is more of our school groups and group programs and camp programs. So our nature camps, school outreach, our school field trip programs, adult education programs with Boy and Girl Scouts, and volunteer eco action days, which we are currently suspended on, but we will continue once it is safe to do so, which would be our beach cleanups, our invasive removal, and sort of putting some work into our natural areas. Topics of our hands-on education programs range from ecosystem science, sustainability, history, archaeology, survival skills, and wildlife. Programs target all age groups and ability levels. We're all inclusive. The Parks Department is inclusive, and so are our programs as well. And then our second group of programs, which we categorize these as our public programs or adventure programs, are really taking anybody who wants to go out on a nature tour or nature adventure and connect them to nature. And we sort of interpret the natural area that we're in, talk to them about some of the things that they're seeing, the plants, the animals, and explain to people on our programs why these areas are important and the ecological services these areas provide to us. So in that category, we offer kayak, canoe, and snorkeling programs, bike programs, nature walks, camping and orienteering clinics, archery, fishing, night hikes, and campfire programs. All of our programs contain an action-driven, mission-related conservation message and focus on outdoor fun led by knowledgeable and informative naturalists. Through our nature centers and our unique parks, we hope to be able to connect Miami-Dade County's precious natural resources and inspire them to be stewards for parks and for the environment. I like to think of our staff and our unit as the spokesperson people for the Miami-Dade County Parks Department. We really talk about the good work that the Parks Department does, why parks are important, how they help us become more resilient as a city, as an area, and conserve natural areas for future generations to come. And we also talk about the good work that all of the other units within our division do as well. We invite you to stay connected with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us at Miami Eco Adventures. That's where we post all the things that we're doing. We post our tours, updated tour dates, cool things we see out in our preserves. So really check us out and follow us. We also are uploading content on our, we have different outlets. So we're doing Homegrown, which we take you to our naturalist home and sort of introduce you guys to what our naturalists are doing at home. Virtual tours at our preserve. So please follow us and check us out. We got a lot of great content there.
All right. Thank you so much, Heather and Fanny. All right, everybody, it's just after 12:30. So if you have to leave, no problem. We'll be staying on to answer questions from the chat at this time. As a final reminder, this webinar is being recorded and you will receive a link to the broadcast within the next week. We hope that you join us in 2 weeks where we will be talking about lobster mini season. And in the meantime, please stay safe and well. And Heather and Fanny, please turn your cameras on so you can chat with your participants. And go ahead and type any questions you have into the chat box.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I see some great park professionals that join us on Zoom today. So I do want to make a shout out to all of you and thank you for the great work that you do. We are Parks and Recreation, and we really appreciate all the great work that you do through conservation and stewardship. So thank you for joining us today. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, we have a question from Mike. He has asked, has a greenway been established in Miami-Dade to connect Biscayne National Park and Everglades National Park? And another question he's asking is if Miami-Dade County owns the new nature preserve in the developed area by Miami Zoo, and how does anyone get to tour? How would one person get to tour that? So two very different, distinct questions.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mike. We do have our open space master plan that's available to you. If you visit the county site, there is a link where you could see the great plans that we have in actually connecting. There are some greenways that are already established. There's some all the way down south through the Everglades Greenway plan. We are currently working in the Miami Loop area as well. But the goal of this plan is to have greenway connections from one national park to the other, as well as some of the state parks in between. And currently we are working on a waterways access plan looking at water connectivity. So Mike, I do want to say that this is a 50-year vision, but we do have over 500 miles of the plan that have already been developed and are currently in the plans as we speak.
And just the second, I want to bring up the second question, Fanny. I know I already forgot what it was, but Mike was asking,
the zoo.
Yeah, the natural area by the zoo.
Yes.
Yes.
So there are several acres around Miami, Zoo Miami. I can tell you that Zoo Miami's conservation and biologist team do several monitoring of that site. They actually also have wildlife cameras that are in the area as well. I know that they work with our natural areas management team to have prescribed burns, making sure that we have environmental restoration projects that take place there as well. So yes, to answer your question, Miami-Dade County Parks does own some of those lands. We actively work on special projects as well in that area as well. There are some adjacent lands that I believe were lands. And so I know that the Miami-Dade County Parks Department, we do acquire lands, and I know we're always looking for parcels. So I know that if there's anything available in that area, that is an area of interest, to make sure that we preserve as many critical areas as well as green spaces within that community.
And Fanny, I think he also mentioned touring those areas and how to get access. And currently that's something that our unit is looking at in partnership with Zoo Miami. So it's been in development for a while. So hopefully once things get back to a more normal state, we'll be able to start offering some tours of those areas.
Yeah, that's right. They just gave us access to an incredible water area where you could kayak and just see the layers of the limestone that tell a great history, Mike. So we're hoping to start those adventures with Zoo Miami and the lands that are out there. Any other questions or comments?
I just want to make a note that Mike is an extremely engaged resident of Miami-Dade County and volunteer for both Everglades and Biscayne National Park, and very engaged in lots of conservation efforts. So I know he'd be first in line. Yeah, Anna.
That's
Flores.
awesome, Mike. I would love for you to join us on some of our Eco Action Days as soon as we open those great volunteer projects. We do great environmental restoration projects at all of our nature centers. So let's stay connected, Mike, and let's get you out there.
All right. Are there any other questions from the group?
I think we're good.
All right. Well,
team, just a little commercial. Stay connected at Miami Eco Adventures on your social media. Please make sure that you thank your great park professionals during this July Parks and Recreation Month. Hashtag We Are Parks and Rec. I know we have a couple of you on the Zoom. And once again, Anna, thank you so much for being our great host and offering this opportunity, making sure that we stay relevant we continue to be stewards even when it's safe or at home, because nature never closes no matter what we're going through. And it's great to see what's happening out in the great outdoors. So thank you again, and I really appreciate all of you that joined us today.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And we hope to see you back here in 2 weeks, same time, same channel, for our conversation about lobster mini season. Take care and be safe, everyone.
Bye. Thank you,
everyone.
Richard.
Thank you.